Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement, DestinationRetirement.com, here from the Steven Singer Studios. I don't know how you guys are feeling today. I am a little nervous about tonight's game, and you really can't blame me. You really can't blame anybody that's nervous going into tonight's Game 6 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Ooh, those words. Eastern Conference semifinals just give me chills every single time because the Sixers haven't had a lot of luck. Carlin will be joining us coming up from USA Today Sixers Wire to talk all things 76ers and whether or not he likes them to win tonight and force a pivotal, ooh, even creepier to say, Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, which, of course, for the Sixers is not exactly unfamiliar territory. And, yes, harvest a lot of bad memories. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss the Phillies. The Phillies have won a series. I'm not kidding you. In case you didn't pay attention because they're out there on the West Coast, they won a series against the Seattle Mariners in their first series win since that great sweep of the Colorado Rockies, which feels like it was a year ago. It was 3 weeks ago. But they haven't won a series in 3 weeks. And how about this? In their last 5 games, they haven't lost back-to-back games either. They're 3-2 in those 5 games. And Rhys Hoskins happens to be hot as hell from the plate. So we got that going for us, and that's fun. Claude Giroux did score a goal last night for the Florida Panthers for our hockey fans, and we got some stuff to get into with the Eagles as well. But we'll start it off, of course, with the Philadelphia 76ers. Not a lot happened yesterday, being that they didn't play. However, in the NBA, a lot of things happened, especially that if you were lucky enough to watch that Bucks-Celtics game last night, it was insane, and it ended with the Celtics losing. So that's always fun. But as far as the Sixers go, Doc Rivers did address the media yesterday. And he said something that I always find very interesting when it comes to the head coaches and really players in general. After they don't perform well at all, it's the word confidence that gets thrown around. Now, Nick Foles, if you remember, leading up to the Super Bowl run, like leading into the playoffs, Nick Foles hadn't played well. The last couple of games leading up, he played pretty terrible. And I remember being at the last game or second to last game of the season that year. Nick Foles did not play well in that particular game. And the questions to Nick Foles were, about confidence. And then Nate Sudfeld ended up playing the vast majority of the last game of that season against the Cowboys. And a lot of people were talking about, hey, maybe Nate Sudfeld should be the guy starting for the Eagles in the playoffs. That conversation was being had. I'm not going to say by everybody, but it was being had by enough people to go, people are really Nate Sudfeld over Nick Foles? Because, interesting. But I remember Nick Foles' press conference for the playoffs. He said the word confident at least 20 times. I'm very confident. I have all the confidence in the world. My coaches have confidence in me. The players have confidence in me. I have confidence in them. We're all very confident. I'm very confident. And you're looking at the numbers like, Nick, you're playing terrible. Where does this confidence come from? And it's like, well, that's that game. And then you go to the next one, and the confidence is that's where the confidence comes. And I'm very confident that this team can be confident, that we're all confident in each other to go on and win. And that right there is confidence. And I'm like, all right, God bless you. Good luck to you, buddy. And sure enough, he ended up playing great in the playoffs. And obviously, Super Bowl MVP, we know how that story ended. So Doc Rivers addresses the media yesterday at the Camden practice facility for the Sixers, and he's talking about his confidence going into this game. And he was asked a couple of things that I felt were very pertinent. He was asked about, sure, confidence level. He was also asked about what you say to a team after an abysmal, as I said yesterday, piss-poor performance in the playoffs. What do you say to a team that performed like that? Doc Rivers said, tape basically speaks for itself. And I thought that was the perfect answer to that question. Because as we got into yesterday in the conversation, when it comes to professional athletes, they shouldn't need a coach to motivate them. They shouldn't need a coach to put a quarter in the machine. Every once in a while, you need that player to get motivated. Maybe a playoff loss in that fashion. You don't need a coach to really say anything other than, did you guys watch that? Message clear? Okay, let's not do that again. That won't be allowed. That's unacceptable. So let's go ahead and burn that, bury it, whatever you got to do, cremate it, all right? Let's do that and then move on with our lives and hopefully attack Game 6 with great, wait for it, confidence. Let's hope that he didn't have to say much. And there's been some other people And I give this guy credit on the national stage, Nick Wright, who came out yesterday, because apparently it's caught on more with some other media outlets that Joel Embiid was somehow greatly distracted by losing the MVP award. And I know a lot of people jumped on that yesterday. I think Joel Embiid knew. Like, when I saw reports coming out that there were people in town, there was one guy for the New York Times, there was another guy locally saying that there was going to be a presentation for the MVP trophy for Joel Embiid. There are people in town from the NBA that are going to be in South Philly to present the award to Joel Embiid. And I remember thinking, we saw the voting. Joel Embiid didn't win, unfortunately. And then we saw the official voting yesterday, and it was something like 61 first-place votes for Joker and like 37 for Joel Embiid. And it's like, what, really? That's it? What the hell, man? So as you're going through all that, I'm thinking, I thought we already knew that Joel Embiid didn't win. And if we're thinking that, I'm pretty sure Joel Embiid knew he didn't win the MVP either. So that would make it factor in less that was a reason why he would play to such a low standard. And I was having a conversation yesterday with some people at an event I was doing, and I'll talk about it at the end of the show. But I was having a conversation with some people about Joel Embiid. And it dawned on me, and I know I saw Charles Barkley rant after Game 5 about how Joel Embiid was distracted, he was mopey, and all that stuff when it comes to the MVP award and all that. And you know what? I get why that would come off as that was the body language, but I really thought about it. Joel Embiid played great for a guy with a broken face and a torn ligament in his thumb and fresh off concussion protocol. He played great for a guy coming off all of that in games 3 and 4, but he certainly didn't play like the MVP caliber player that we have seen him play as throughout these playoffs, throughout the regular season, obviously. We didn't see him play to that level in games 3 and 4. If Tyrese Maxey doesn't go off for 30-plus points in game 3, they don't win that game. If James Harden doesn't go off for a 16-point fourth quarter and 31 points overall, they don't win game 4. It wasn't Joel Embiid being incredible. It was Danny Green hitting his outside shots. It was George Niang coming off the bench, did some shots for you. And it was Maxey or Harden going off to lead this team to those 2 wins in South Philly. And hopefully, yes, they do the same thing tonight in game 6. But it wasn't Joel Embiid. His presence had a lot to do with that. Well, he was also in game 5, and his presence really didn't do much. So when it comes to channeling confidence and trying to dredge up some confidence, the one thing Doc Rivers goes to is that they're at home, because the home team has not lost in this series, and obviously the road team has not won either. So if you want to talk about confidence, that's the number one thing Doc Rivers is looking at, according to him yesterday, that he's looking at for this game as to why this team should have confidence that they could bounce back against the Miami Heat, despite the fact that the Heat just beat the brakes off of them in game 5. What you're going to need to see tonight for the Sixers to get the victory and force a game 7 where we can all just shudder at that for a second. Oh, game 7 of the conference semifinals. What could go wrong? The bench players have to be a huge, huge factor tonight. The team has to shoot like they have shot at home at 48% from beyond the arc. That's incredible. 48% is incredible. I'll take 40. I'll give you 8 of those points, 8 of those percentage points. Just give me 40. Danny Green, hit your corner threes. This team seems to be a totally different ball club when Danny Green is hitting 3 to 5 threes for you from the corner. Totally different ballgame. George Niang, I know your knee is banged up. I know you're trying to fight through it. God bless you. George Niang, have yourself a ball game tonight. Give me a couple of threes off the bench. Shake Milton, when you're out there with the second unit. I know, yes, I'm talking about Shake Milton. You know why? Because he actually has the ability to score on this bench and hasn't really done a lot of it. But please, come off the bench with some kind of attitude and do what you can do. Do what we have seen you do in the past. We need bench players to step up in this game. If James Harden isn't going to reach back to what he had in game 6 against the Raptors, if he's not going to reach in and have what he had in game 4 against this Miami Heat team, you need the bench to step up, and you need guys like George Niang and Shake Milton to be able to do that. And for the love of God, what do we got to do to get Matisse Thybulle going defensively? We've talked about it a lot in this playoffs, even going back to the Raptors series. Raptors series started to worry us, not the fact that he wasn't playing, but the fact that when he did play, it was like, who's this guy? That looks like he's been off of basketball for a year. Where's the guy to jump in those passing lanes that we discussed yesterday? Where's that guy like Matisse Thybulle to jump in and make a play and turn some offense, get some offense out of defense? You know what I'm saying? Where's that guy? Let's see those guys come off the bench and give you some great minutes, and this team's going to play well. And Paul Reed, you just seem to me to be getting better and better with all the more minutes you get. So you keep doing what you're doing. Those 4 guys step up for you coming off the bench. There's no doubt in my mind you'll be playing a Game 7. I would love to say that the starting 5 will be a huge focal point, and of course they will be. But I don't have a lot of confidence that James Harden will find consistency. I don't have a lot of confidence that Tyrese Maxey will find that consistency either. Joel Embiid, I feel like you got the best you could possibly get from him. And the one saving grace, I will say, if they do win this game tonight, is that they have an extra day off. So they win tonight on Thursday. They don't play till Sunday. Like that's awesome. So I'll be crossing my fingers that they're actually able to force that Game 7 to get that extra day off, which would help a guy like Joel Embiid. All the help he can get, obviously, he'll take. And it'll also help an older guy like James Harden get a little bit of a rest, especially with that hamstring, which, yes, I do believe is still bothering him. And the fact that he's 32 isn't so great either. But as much as I want to focus in on some guys in the starting 5, we can all talk about it. And that's mainly who we talk about. But to win this game and to go on to Game 7, not only are you going to need those bench players, those role players to have significant contributions today, you're going to need them to have those significant contributions in Game 7 as well. So let's get the ball rolling now. And you do that, George Niang, you get the ball rolling. Danny Green in your starting 5 hitting those corner threes for you, changing the landscape of a game. You do that, and guess what's going to happen in Game 7? Your bench is going to have a lot more confidence that they can actually help that starting 5 win a ball game. And actually, oh my God, win an Eastern Conference semifinals Game 7. Joel Embiid is without a doubt the biggest question mark. How does he shake off that type of performance? It looked to me after he took that ball to the face from Dwayne Dedmon when Dwayne Dedmon swiped to the ball and it hit Joel Embiid in the face at the 6:12 mark of the second quarter in Game 5. It looked like he was shying away from contact for a bit. I don't blame him, but if he's going to be out there on the court, the Miami Heat need to know, or at least need to think, that the MVP caliber player is still very much well within Joel Embiid, and he's dying to let it out. I know a lot of people's mindset, a lot of people's mentality going into that Game 5, Joel's going to be so pissed that he's going to really get after it, or Game 5, he's really going to get after it, he's going to be so pissed he lost the award, and all this, and he didn't do any of that. My message, if I could say anything to Joel Embiid, it would be, yeah, go out there and be dominant. Don't overextend. The minute he starts to overextend with the torn thumb and the coming off the concussion and the broken face, well, the minute he starts to overextend with those ailments is the minute I think he starts to make mistakes and puts himself back into harm's way. He has to have that Tyrese Maxey step up and help carry this team. He needs to have James Harden step up and help carry this team. When the starting 5's out there on the floor, somebody else has to be the money man. Joel Embiid has to be the consistent guy to be able to feed the ball to down low, those little over-the-top passes that they were so good at against the Raptors, who were fronting Joel Embiid a lot, just like the Miami Heat are fronting him a lot in this series. That has to be something Joel Embiid has to be able to be consistent with every time down the court. And at the same time, you're going to have guys like Maxey and Harden be consistent and accurate with their passes down low to Joel Embiid to let the man work. If they're able to do that, if all those things come together, there's no doubt in my mind there'll be a Game 7 come Sunday for this playoff series. So I'm crossing my fingers for that. As I said earlier, by the way, 7 o'clock tip-off tonight in South Philadelphia. After the game, win or lose, Kevin Negandhi, ESPN, Temple University's own Kevin Negandhi will be on the show tomorrow morning. So Kevin and I will break it down after the game tomorrow night and discuss all things 76ers, and we will play that for you on tomorrow's program. So I look forward to catching up with Kevin Negandhi, the first ever guest of the Farzy show. So, Kevin, I look forward to speaking to you again. What else do I have for you today? We got the Phillies, obviously, yesterday. They had a nice little win for themselves. Not just a win, but a series win to improve to 14-17 on the young season. Rhys Hoskins went yard for you. Phillies got the 4-2 win. Rhys Hoskins' grand slam in the fourth inning was the only offense that the Phillies needed for that. And how about this? Bailey Falter. Welcome back to the Bigs, friend. 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts for Bailey Falter. Congratulations to him. Sir Anthony Dominguez gets the win for the Phillies. He lowered his ERA to 3.09 on the young season, which was nice to see. And Knable came in the 8th inning to get the 4-out save, which is always nice. So now, what do the Phillies get for winning their first series since that Colorado Rockies series? They get to face the Dodgers for a 4-game set. Zach Wheeler will rejoin the team, which is nice. He goes up against Tyler Anderson tonight. 10-10 start time in Los Angeles. The Dodgers are 11 games over 500. Congratulations, Phillies. Go face the Dodgers for Tyler Anderson. So best of luck to y'all. So that's where we leave the Phillies, or at least that's where we pick them up. Before we get to our conversation with Kai Carlin on all things 76ers, let me tell you right now about our friends at Destination Retirement at destinationretirement.com. Mike Seibert is a retirement income certified professional at Destination Retirement LLC and a partner of 1847 Financial and an advisor for Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies fans only. Maybe next year. The Flyers as well. When it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up current enjoyment of your income? The answer is to have income streams in retirement. It only makes sense then to understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Is the objective to get to the top of the mountain, or is the objective to get to the top of the mountain and then safely back down the mountain? That's retirement planning, folks. And these are the two different phases of your financial life. Each should be addressed separately. And this month, let's talk about college planning. You know, college can be expensive. We all know that. Have you ever thought about how it will affect your retirement by paying for your kids' college? Let Mike show you an efficient way to help pay for your kids' college education and still retire on your own terms. Your first step is to avoid starting your growth cycle over by depleting accounts like 529s for big expenses like college. You don't want to lose your position in your growth cycle and have to start over. You can't get that time back. Instead, set yourself up with the ability to use vehicles that you can take money out of without starting your growth cycle over again. Find out how your annual retirement savings can help your college savings and how your annual college savings can help your retirement savings. Michael, set up your own portal and retirement analyzer, then use the software to help you navigate through the different phases of your financial life. For questions or to set up a meeting with Mike, you can email him at gobirds@1847financial.com. That's gobirds@1847financial.com, or simply call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit his website at destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds. And hopefully tonight, play the song. Let me tell you about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right on Jewelers Row. Right there in beautiful Jewelers Row, 8th and Walnut, or at IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Steven likes to take care of his customers with that perfect price that you hear me talking about all the time, because other jewelers, they like to mark things way up just to mark it down a couple of bucks in front of you. Feel like you won. Feel like you're a great negotiator. Well, at Steven Singer, you don't have to worry about that pressure. You don't have to worry about the person next to you is a better negotiator, paying less than you are, getting some kind of deal. Now, you don't got to worry about coupons. You don't got to worry about promo codes. Oh, you're here today? The sale was yesterday. You missed the sale. The sale's every day at Steven Singer Jewelers, because that's what you get with the perfect price. The perfect price guarantee at Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. And I hate Steven Singer Jewelers. IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, let's really jump into the Sixers game tonight and how they come off such a horrible Game 5 performance. Kai Carlin of USA Today Sixers Wire joins us to discuss all things 76ers. Joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopedics Gas Line from Sixers USA Today. That's Sixers Wire USA Today. Kai Carlin rejoins the show. Make sure you guys are following him on Twitter and all that good stuff as well. Kai, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's going on, Mark? How are you?
I was doing really well when Joel Embiid came back to play basketball again, because those two games were fun. And then not so well after Game 5. We know the numbers, the statistics about what losing Game 5 in a 2-2 series means, so things aren't necessarily looking up for the Sixers. What did you see in that Game 5? What happened to that Sixers team that left South Philadelphia for South Beach? What happened to them on that flight? What went on?
I don't know. I'm not saying that they did. I'm going to take a line from Stephen A. Smith. I'm not saying they looked like that, but it definitely looked like
right.
Out on South Beach the night before. It looked like they caught the Miami flu, Mark.
I'm not saying they were sitting next to me at the Clevelander or anything, but I'm saying they probably were sitting next to somebody. Right. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
I mean, basically, just the effort just wasn't there, just from the jump. Miami jumped on them early, and it kind of has been like the trend in this series so far. Like the role players on both teams only play well at home; they don't play well on the road. So Max Strus, those same 3-pointers he missed in games 3 and 4 in Philadelphia, he was making in Game 5 down in Miami in his home arena, and he was able to knock those down. Strus was huge. Even Duncan Robinson got some playing time. I feel like that kind of threw the Sixers off a little bit, even though he didn't really make too much of an impact. Just his mere presence on the floor spaces it even more for them. Bam, I thought, played with much more, I want to say, aggressiveness, because normally Joel shuts him down every time they match up. PJ Tucker had 7 assists, which blew my mind. I was like, wow, PJ led him in assists. And then, of course, Jimmy Butler is Jimmy Butler, and he got some help in this one. Now it'll be interesting to see if the Heat shooters carry this with them to Game 6 in Philadelphia. But yeah, the Sixers are definitely in trouble. It was a pathetic effort from the jump. They really looked like they looked disinterested. Joel did look a little mopey, like whether it be because he lost MVP, because Joel really wanted that award. I don't think it was as serious as what Charles Barkley tried to make it out to be. But Joel definitely wanted that award, and I feel like it was that combined with the fact that he's playing with a freaking torn ligament in his thumb. He's playing with a broken face. He just got through the concussion protocol. All of that's just really tough to deal with and hard and tough mentally to deal with. And I feel like maybe that affected him a little bit. But, I mean, at the end of the day, there really is no excuse for what happened last night.
Okay, I agree that he did look mopey, but I think you just illustrated. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but yeah, I think it was more the fact he's got a broken face. It wasn't so much the attitude as much as it was the physical ailments.
Yeah, no, for sure. A lot of that it was just a combination of a bunch of things. Yeah. And then I know a lot of people got upset about what people think was a Dwayne Dedmon no call, but if you look back at that replay, Dedmon hit the ball, and then it was just a series of unfortunate events. Dedmon was going for the ball. He hit the ball. The ball then went smack back into Joel's face, and with a broken face, when a basketball comes to hit you in the face, that is just going to make it worse. Just all around, mentally, that's a lot to kind of handle and a lot to deal with. It's tough.
Here's and tell me if you agree or disagree, or you own your own spin, obviously, on it, of course. But I didn't think Joel Embiid played great in games 3 and 4. I thought he played well. He wasn't like the vintage Joel Embiid we've seen all season. And Maxey stepped up in game 3. Then Harden stepped up in game 4. Joel Embiid, yes, played below the standard he already set in this series, but nobody else stepped up to the plate to try to hit some threes or hit some jump shots or drive to the lane or make any type of difference in that game 5. That's what I took away from it.
Yeah, no, and I definitely 100% agree with you. I think the biggest thing, and I know I alluded to it earlier, the role players in this series continue to struggle on the road. And like you just mentioned, Maxey and Harden, and not to say those guys are role players, but they were obviously shots are going to fall at home. It's not going to fall on the road. You have to continue to kind of fight and dig until you find some type of offensive success and offensive rhythm that you can bank on. And on the road, you have to be able to continue to fight until you get to that point. And there was just no fight. It was kind of like the Heat hit them in the mouth. Like I said, Miami went up 12 in the first quarter. Philly tried cutting it to, I think they cut it to 10 in the third quarter when Joel hit the jumper. And then after that, the Heat jumped them. They went up by as many as 37. And then, obviously you're not going to play Joel at that point. Pull him, get him ready for game 6. And you know what, Mark? I mean, this is why an effort like Tuesdays was why a lot of people still doubt this team, because and this wasn't just a Doc Rivers thing. This was a Brett Brown thing too. This team they have such weird nights like this one where it's just like we kind of scratch your head and you're just like, dude, where does this even come from? You guys are the talent you have on this roster. There's just, it shouldn't happen this way. Mark, Game 5 in 2019 against Toronto, again, 2-2 series, and they get blown out by 36. Blown out 36, basically the same thing as it was in Miami the other night. Give that 19 team credit. They bounced back. They won Game 6, and then obviously we know the Kawhi shot in Game 7. Yeah. So this Sixers team right now has a chance to come home, force a Game 7, but I don't think they can go back to Miami and win because again the role players have proven they can't play on the road. Mm-hmm. Even in the Toronto series, like I mean, Embiid was terrific, and Danny Green knocked down some big shots, but I mean, Miami's a much better team than Toronto. So yeah. I don't think they can go back to Miami and win Game 7. So
wow, I don't want to live in a world where you watch post-process Sixers, man, drop 3 Game 7s of Eastern Conference semifinals, man. Unbelievable. Yeah. That is crazy. So from what we have talked about, it sounds like obviously it'll come down a lot to the shooter, the role players, and the guys coming off the bench and all that. You were at the Doc Rivers press conference on Wednesday in Camden. Anything jump out to you that suggests this team will be able to get it together for not one, but 2 more games left in this series?
I think a little bit. I mean, especially when, like, okay, listen, I know Doc gets a lot of criticism and a lot of hate from this fan base, which I feel like a lot of people need to kind of cut it out, especially with the season they had this year. But, Doc was down 3-2 in 2015 with the Clippers. And they had to go on the road Game 6 in San Antonio against a Spurs team that still had Duncan, Parker, Ginobili, and they had a young Kawhi. And they went into San Antonio and beat the Spurs and then came home the Game 7, and Chris Paul had that shot with the hamstring issue, and the Clippers end up winning that series. So Doc has experience in this situation when his team's down 3-2 and they're in a tough spot and they got to pick up a win. Even last year's team, remember, they were down 3-2 to the Atlanta Hawks. They go into Atlanta Game 6 and beat them. And then obviously we know what happened Game 7 that series too. But and then even 19, they were down 3-2 to the Raptors and they forced that Game 7. So this team has proven some resiliency in the past. If you're asking me to pick somebody to win Game 6, I am picking the Sixers to win Game 6. I'm picking the Heat in Game 7 because Philadelphia can't go on the road and beat them. And now you can be like, how can you say that? The Sixers have been a really good road team all year. They have. That's the regular season.
Right.
This is the playoffs. You look at Miami's roster. Jimmy Butler has been to the finals. Bam Adebayo has been to the finals. And I don't want to hear the bubble. I just don't.
Right.
A lot of people always hit me with, it was the bubble. I mean, the bubble was hard as hell. Like you're stuck in a hotel room. You're being tested every day.
Jimmy Butler's charging you $20 for a cup of coffee, for crying out loud.
Yeah, for one small cup of coffee, Jimmy's charging you exorbitant amount of money. No, the bubble was hard. I hate when people try to discredit the bubble. It gets annoying.
I'm with you.
Anyway, the point is, PJ Tucker's got a ring. And I know Kyle Lowry hasn't played, but he's played 2 games in this series, and he was pretty much ineffective. But he's got a ring. He's another one. These guys have been to the finals. Eric Spoelstra's got 2 rings. He's got 5 finals appearances. The Heat have been there, done that. The Sixers haven't, except for Danny Green. I mean, and Harden is the only other Sixer, I think, who's been past round 2. So, again, you look at this roster, they haven't been there. The Heat have. They've been there, done that. So I think Sixers win Game 6. They're back home. The shots will fall. They're not. I can't see them winning Game 7 on the road. Just can't do it.
I wish I could have confidence in saying that even they're going to absolutely win Game 6, but the way they played, man, and you make a great point about the Raptors series with the Kawhi, the way they ended that Game 5 of that series from a couple years ago. I would love to have the confidence that they're going to be able at least to force that Game 7. I think they will, but I'm certainly not brimming with confidence about it. 2 things about the future. Real quick, Doc Rivers, does he come back next year if they do get eliminated in another Game 7? What do you think happens with Doc Rivers in his future?
It's tough. I think, I know the Mike D'Antoni rumors are swirling, and it makes a ton of sense, especially when you consider the fact that he's got history with both James and Daryl from the Houston Rocket days. It makes a ton of sense. But D'Antoni's another one. What has D'Antoni won in his career?
Right.
What has D'Antoni, Harden, and Morey won in their career? It's like, as a trio. I understand they were one win away from the finals in 2018. I get it. And who knows, like, what happens with that team if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt? Who knows? But point is, they didn't win. So Doc, and this is what I was trying to allude to earlier. Doc has gotten so much flack this year, and I'm not sure why. Especially when you consider the Ben Simmons thing was toxic, dude. That was a toxic situation. And they were the number 3 seed going into the All-Star break because mostly Joel was superhuman. But Doc did a hell of a job gathering that team together and be like, yo, listen, forget the noise. Ben's not here. We're not even going to address Ben. We are going to play basketball. We're going to play our style. We're going to do this, and this, and we are going to continue to win basketball games, which is what they did. Had some clunkers in there, but for the most part, Mark, they were a pretty damn good team going into the All-Star break. Then you make the big trade, and that Harden addition, you're adding a future Hall of Famer, a top 75 player. That sends shockwaves throughout the rest of the roster. They had to make adjustments on the fly. They ended up being 51-31. Then they go up 3-0 against the Raptors. Joel suffers the thumb issue. They end up losing 2 in a row before winning Game 6, and then you go up against the number 1 seed in the East with your best player extremely hurt with a broken face. And again, I don't know why the Heat keep getting disrespected. It's weird, but the Heat are the number 1 seed, and there's no shame in losing to the number 1 seed when your best player is like maybe 70% of what he actually is.
Right.
So I would give Doc another year. That's just me. But it also wouldn't be shocking because of D'Antoni's connections with Morey and James. But if you're asking me, Kai Carlin, if I was to be GM, I'm giving Doc another year. Okay.
All right. There you go. Congratulations. I've just appointed you GM. Assistant to the regional GM. That's what we'll say. We'll say. There you go. And then the very last thing, just real quick, James Harden, hamstring or age? What is making him not be the James Harden we have seen in years past?
Mark, I'm going to say both. I'm going to say both. I think the hamstring is definitely hurting him much more than what he's trying to lead on.
Okay.
And then also you got to consider he is 32. He's been in the playoffs so many times with the Houston Rockets. He's also had to do so much with those past Rockets teams. So he's got a lot of mileage on his body, a lot of stress on his body, having to pretty much score 30 to 40 every single night just for the Rockets to have a shot. And then you kind of throw in just the playoff wars going up against the Golden State Warriors, like how many years in a row? Like that's tough. Ask LeBron James, like how he's feeling after playing the Golden State Warriors so many years in a row. So then he goes to Brooklyn and he thinks that he doesn't have to carry the load as much because of KD and Kyrie, but just turns out the KD and Kyrie thing is just a volatile situation.
Yeah, pretty much
up there in Brooklyn. Then he comes to Philadelphia, and again, he's thinking that Joel's going to be Joel, and he doesn't have to do too much. He just has to play make and give only 20 to 25 points rather than 40. Then Joel gets hurt, and then again he's expected to give 30 to 40 a night again. He can't do it anymore, and I feel like it's a combination of the hamstring that's holding him back a little bit. So I'm interested to see a full summer of a rehab for him and maybe how he looks next year. But you also have to consider the mileage on his body. He's played a lot of basketball.
Certainly has. And I know that you writers get a lot of mileage put on you guys throughout the playoffs. So I appreciate you being so generous with your time on the show today, man, and breaking it all down for us. Kai Carlin, USA Today Sixers Wire has the Sixers winning Game 6. And then, unfortunately, dropping Game 7, but only the future will let us know for sure. Kai Carlin, always great catching up with you, man. Thanks so much. Do a great job for Sixers Wire as well. Appreciate you coming on the Farzy Show again, my friend.
Mark, thank you so much for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Kai Carlin joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Great to catch up with Kai Carlin again. Appreciate him coming on from USA Today Newswire, Sixers Wire, that is. Kai Carlin jumping on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Real quick, before we move on and talk about some other things, I meant to show you guys this in the open. Miss Scusi. This is the voting right here. Now, I referenced these numbers earlier I was a little off. 65 votes for Joker, 26 first place votes for Joel Embiid. Here's my problem. Other than the fact Joel Embiid's second. Mosey on down, okay? Third place votes. 34 people did not even have Joel Embiid as the runner-up. And one person had Joel Embiid with a fourth place vote. Now, not pictured is Devin Booker, who was fourth in the voting. Joel Embiid, somebody who watched the NBA this year, didn't have Joel Embiid number one, did not have Joel Embiid number two, not number three, but had him fourth. Somebody who has a vote, somebody who could sway this, voted for Joel Embiid as number 4. The fourth most valuable player in the NBA. Now, witch hunt? Well, we all get to just Bill Simmons. That's who it was, which is why after the Sixers lost, Game 5, Joel Embiid went on that long rant, like a 2-minute rant about the MVP award and how he's happy for Joker, blah, 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 blah. But he called out Bill Simmons specifically. I wonder why. I don't think we have to look too far for two things. One, to realize it was Bill Simmons, and two, to realize Joel Embiid knows it was Bill Simmons who voted for him fourth in the MVP voting. So there's that. Maybe if Joel Embiid was mopey in Game 5, maybe it was because he realized he got a fourth place vote. Maybe that was something he wasn't all that aware of before. I would think he would be, but still, I guess once it's final, I guess it's final, and you really can't do anything after that. But you know what? Kai Carlin once again joined us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Let me tell you guys about Freestone Farms CBD. You guys enjoy your CBD? You guys like your CBD? CBD help you a little bit? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Get 20% off. 20% off your CBD when you use promo code Farzy at FreestoneFarmCBD.com. The menu's right there for the viewing. It's FreestoneFarmCBD.com. It's something that you'll absolutely have to check out with strains like their insane tropical tasting Bayox. That clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%. And Super CBD, Super CBD, which is a half Hindu Kush and 21%. The genetics of these things are absolutely incredible, absolutely phenomenal. They also grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State with all organic inputs and IPM. There's absolutely nothing synthetic from jar to jar. After the harvest, they also carefully preserve all the plant compounds with the perfect 3-month cure. It's just wonderful. Just look at all the things they have at FreestoneFarmsCBD.com. You will be amazed, just as I was. And remember, use promo code Farzy upon checkout for 20% off. That's right. Promo code Farzy for 20% off at FreestoneFarmsCBD.com. How about the people at PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsStation.com. Let's jump into our chat check and see how all you wonderful, beautiful people are doing on this fine morning. Oh, do we have any trolls, quote unquote, in today's chat check? Let's see. Let's go back and find out here. Let me hit the little button over here, and we'll bring it up. There we are. We're back in business, baby. Here we go. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, April, Dan, Mally. What's poppin'? Mally, once again, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Mally, I think if I was to picture you watching this program, it would be through the clouds. Dan, Jim. What's up, Jim? Good morning. Yeah, we had a little bit of a reboot we had to have before the show started today. Little system reboot. So apologize for our tardiness. Did Marks take his meatballs because he decided to cook meatballs? What? Oh, to answer the question, yes, I am cooking on Saturday. And I had to triple check and make sure the Sixers weren't playing Saturday because nobody wants to eat dinner at like 5 o'clock. And that's what would have had to happen. So here's what's happening. My cousin-in-law, all right, Sarah, who's awesome, by the way, her father watches this show in Idaho. She's from Idaho, okay, originally. And her mom's originally East Coast. She's from Delaware, and they got Philadelphia ties and all that stuff. And she's graduated from nursing school, so we're all really proud of her. Now, everybody's from out of town, so we're the only people in the family that live in Philly proper, okay? So we decided instead of everyone trying to pick a restaurant and all that stuff, and I love cooking. As I said yesterday, I love cooking for I've cooked for 30 people on multiple occasions in my life, and I love it. I joke that it's my natural habitat, right? And so I'm cooking again. Here's what's on the menu. I won the catering battle, and I didn't even win it as much as it was given to me because my wife put the feeler out there. Hey, everyone, we were just sick in the house. Do you guys mind? Do you still want us to cook, or would you rather go out or get it catered? And everybody, unanimous. I got more votes than Embiid for cooker, for chef, than anything. And it was unanimous. No, we want Mark to cook. Boom! I'm cooking. So here's the menu. We're just going to have some appetizers. All right, so I'm gonna make some chicken cutlet sliders. All right, so people can just grab it and when they walk in the door, chicken cutlet slider, sure. Now, my family and chicken cutlets, this is an age-old tradition. A lot of memories surrounding making chicken cutlets. So I'm going to make a crap ton of chicken cutlet sliders with my balsamic vinegar, with my sharp provolone cheese, some broccoli rabe. I'm going to go crazy, all right? Make all those. We're going to have some chicken wings from Costco. That'll be easy. I just have, because who doesn't like a chicken wing, you know what I'm saying? We're going to have some dips, an array of dips. And then for the main course for dinner, I'm making cacio pepe, which is one of the oldest pasta dishes in the history of the planet. I'm going to make that. It's basically just pecorino romano smothered. It's basically pasta, all right? Like a spaghetti. You could do a linguine. In like some parts of Italy, they use peachy pasta, which is like a really thick pasta. It's like almost like a bucatini. You make that, and you basically smother it in pecorino romano and freshly ground pepper. It's literally cheese and pepper. And you put that over a pasta. It's smothered in it. It kind of looks like a real creamy fettuccine Alfredo. It's not at all a fettuccine Alfredo, but just by looks, if you don't know it, that's what it looks like. So I'm making that fresh. I'm making the pasta, making the sauce, the whole thing. And then I'm going to do Tuscan pork, grilled Tuscan pork. Oh, that's going to be nice as the protein, right? And then, of course, gelato for dessert. Because, come on, what am I, a barbarian? What am I going to not put a capsule on it with that and some cookies, right? Some cannoli. We're going to have a nice little night. I can't wait. That's a natural habitat. So, yes, I won the battle. Thank you for those who reached out on social media and in the chat as well. And it turns out it wasn't even a battle. It was like, yeah, Mark's going to cook. And I'm like, damn right. And I'm doing all that Saturday. And I don't have a Sixers game to worry about. So I'll be free as I'm kneading the dough. Yeah. All right. Anyway, sports. Dan, thanks for getting me started on the thing there. No meatballs. Not going to be doing the meatballs. April, hello again. Mark has decided to let Freestone Farms cater the entire gathering. Mally, that'd be nice as well. Sean Gillespie, a real bench for the Sixers? Goodness gracious, if only Sixers management after decades understood this. And that's a reply to to Dan's comment talking about the bench actually needing to step up, which they absolutely need to do. Jericho Stikes. Oh, boo-hoo. Are we going to cry about Jokic deserving winning the MVP? No, because he didn't deserve. Hey, this Jericho, first off, great name. Second, nobody's crying. We're just stating the facts. This is a horrible error. And when I say this, I'm showing the MVP voting again. For the people on the podcast, I'm showing the egregious error made by NBA voters, putting Nikola Jokic as the MVP, when clearly that was wrong. Thank you. Oh, I see Jericho. Really, let's go here. Show not to be a downer, but has anyone looked at the MVP? She's trying to hammer this into people. Not crybaby JoJo? Huh. That's interesting. Like, again, the thing that I always go back to is that I don't think anyone's afraid of facing Joker. People are afraid of facing Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, with all his ailments, the Heat were shaking in their boots in games 3 and 4. Now it's a matter of getting back to that. Like, just his presence on the floor got you 2 wins. The Joker ain't doing that. Like, that, it's just that Joker is a great player. I just don't think he's, like, especially back-to-back MVPs. Like, what? Oh, boy. Anyway, now I'm not going to get started with that. It's a victory we've already had. What was there to defend 2 MVPs? Okay, Jericho, you're very helpful here. Ben Timmons! What's up, Ben? Jericho, based on your comments, I just have a question for you. Do you drive a windowless van in Denver? Do you have a lot of black and white pictures that you've taken and recently developed of Nikola Jokic? Do you have those? You're starting to freak me out a little bit. Here's what I'll ask you: do you want to wear Joker's face as a hat? Is that where you're going? You're one of them guys that was on that old show there, Mindhunter or whatever on Netflix? Because you're kind of scaring me. April, Cacio Pep is amazing. It is absolutely phenomenal. Oh my God, so good. Is this the freaky cousin coming to party? No, come on. The freaky cousin, first off, is my mom's side of the family, certainly not an in-law. Okay? Ooh, Jericho contributes with Idaho. No, Udaho. I've heard that joke many times. Having family that watches in Idaho. Mullet, please welcome me to the party. Yes, please. What the hell? Oh, Jericho's now learning about my freaky cousin. Freaky cousin's name is Nikola Jokic. That's the name right there. All right, this one off the rails in the chat I can see right now. Dan, I'm so hungry listening. This food talk got room for 1 more, Mark, or 3? I'll bring the wife and daughter. Here's usually how it works. I invite, this isn't a lie, by the way. This is the last time. Well, no, because I cooked in Denver. That was 38 people. I cooked in Denver for 38 people. I made braciole, I made meatballs, I made pasta, I made pesto, chicken pasta. I made the whole thing. It was great. At least I thought it was great for me, is what I mean, in terms of just having fun, and people seemed to enjoy it, which was nice. The first time I did this, it was a rehearsal dinner for my brother-in-law's wedding. And it was supposed to be 6 people were going to stay with my wife and I we had an apartment at the time. And 6 people were going to stay with me, and everyone was trying to decide what to do for dinner. And I said, you know what? For the people that are staying with us, I'll just make dinner. I'll do a real easy spaghetti dinner. Everyone loves the spaghetti, and I'll make that, and no problem. Then we'll go out and we'll meet everybody for drinks. And my wife was like, that's great. We'll do that. So I'm literally 2 days before that night, my in-laws were over, and one of my in-laws says, oh, I invited a couple more people over for dinner. I hope that's okay. And I stopped because I'd already bought the food. And they go, yeah, we invited a couple more people. I go, what's a couple? What's a couple more people? Because I'm planning for 6 people. What are we doing? And they were like, oh, just our family. I go, oh, just our family. Like, so your side of the family you invited over for dinner, which was another like 23 people, right? Yeah. So I had to go back to the store, buy a hell of a lot more food. And I swear by the end of the night, the amount of people that just ended up coming over, I'm embarrassed to say, ran out of food. Everyone ate. Everyone was full. But like if anyone else was like, hey, do you have any more of those? No, I didn't. We were out. It was done. Over. So it was the perfect amount of food, which has literally never happened in my life. It's always like leftovers for 2 weeks. So fortunately that didn't happen. Oh, cool. So your cousin is a 2-time MVP? No, my cousin's an actual 2-time MVP, not one that was like, a consolation prize MVP. I'll bring the weed, Mark. Thanks, Mally. There you go. Appreciate you. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Good stuff. Here's what I want to know, and I'll look back at the end of this little, not rant, but the monologue I'll do here. I feel like tonight we need a Sixers win. I don't know if we could take a Game 7 loss again, but I know I need it. I know going into this game tonight against the Miami Heat at home, I feel like I absolutely need the Sixers to win this game for my own sanity. Obviously, I'd love for them to win the series. A road team would have to win for that to happen. The home team has to win tonight, obviously, and then the road team would have to win Sunday. But for the life of me, when I look at this series, when I look at what the Sixers have done, by the way, this is your Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. When I look at what the Sixers have done since the start of the process, I just can't wrap my head around right now the idea of the Sixers being bounced out in the second round again. I can't go through that again. I feel like I'm making a plea in like some hostage video. Like, please help us. Please help us. 76ers. For all that is holy in the world, for all that is sacred, win this game tonight. Force that Game 7. Win this series. But let's start it off with tonight. I referenced earlier all the things that have to go right. Kai Carlin broke it down so eloquently by talking about those role players have to do their job, have to, fulfill their role on this basketball team in order for that Game 7 to happen on Sunday. You're going to need it all clicking. And then you're going to have to figure out a way to bottle that up, put it in a nice package, and deliver it to South Beach so that you could do it again. This Heat team is not going to roll over. They're gaining confidence. They're not going to be having – Kyle Lowry's not playing in this game either. So that's the one nice thing the Sixers have going for them. Not that it was a huge difference in Game 5 either, or really at any point in this series. But right now, you have to be concentrating on the idea that you can get any edge, or you have to be trying to get any edge that you can in this series. And that's a little bit of an edge that you can get by not having Kyle Lowry out there trying to dictate what's happening offensively for the Miami Heat. One change that I do want to see at some point in this game, I need to see Matisse Thybulle on Jimmy Butler at some point. And I need to see Matisse Thybulle show you what he's capable of defensively again. As a guy that a lot of people think will be a defensive player of the year at some point in his career, I need to see a little bit of that tonight. And I'm certainly going to need to see a lot of that in Game 7, if there is a Game 7. But first step is winning tonight, taking care of business. And I don't think as a city we're mentally prepared to start focusing on the Phillies and the horrific schedule they have coming up. PJ and I were talking about it during the interview. What the Phillies have coming up after this series here against the Mariners, if you haven't seen it, I referenced the 4-game series they have against the Dodgers. Are you willing to concentrate and ready to concentrate on this? All right. Dodgers for 4. Padres for 3. Dodgers for 3. Braves for 3. Or excuse me, Braves for 4. Yeah, Mets for 3. And then Gabe Kapler's San Francisco Giants come in. So basically from now until June 5th, the Phillies have a really, really rough stretch. That could spell the end for Joe Girardi, if not sooner. I have a feeling that Atlanta series is going to mean a lot for Joe Girardi's career in terms of what could happen here against the Dodgers for a 4-game series, then San Diego, then the Dodgers again. I think that Atlanta series will be the end-all, be-all for Joe Girardi in Atlanta, by the way. So that's what we got right there for the Phillies. That's what we got right there for the 76ers. Appreciate it. I told you guys, now, for the people on the podcast, this is very visual, but yesterday, for the third time, I got to host the TrueMark Financial Literacy fundraiser, which is called Kiss a Pig. Now, you might say, is that some sort of financial term? Oh, you balance your checkbook, you really kiss the pig, huh? No, it's not. I don't know what it has to do with anything. All I know is it raises an amazing amount of money, like $20,000 for these kids in the Philadelphia area for financial literacy. Now, what's financial literacy? It's just understanding dollars and cents is what it is. It's like VH1 Behind the Music was for my generation. It's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be blowing all my money. Maybe I should save a little bit. Like, that's what it is. Balancing a checkbook, learning debits and credits, how to use a credit card, how to pay off interest, all that stuff. So I took part in this event. I've hosted the event for the last 3 years. And you know who was there, actually? How about this? Gina Gannon from 6ABC was also a guest speaker there yesterday. There we are yesterday. That's on her Instagram account if you want to give her a follow. She was absolutely awesome. We had met once or twice before. She's great. Here is the quick play-by-play of how it goes down. Now, just to alleviate, I did kiss the pig. Here is me kissing Reigns the pig, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Reigns the pig. There's me taking a selfie. Here's the first part of that video. Hey, hi, everybody. All right, here we go, Reigns. Me and you, like old times, friend. There we go, Reigns. Reigns loves the camera. For the people on the podcast, those lips smacking were Reigns the pig. That was her mouth. I had no shot of getting a good video of me actually kissing the pig up close like that. So that's why I just had the picture there to prove it to people that I actually did kiss the pig to help raise money for financial literacy programs in the Philadelphia area for the grade schools in our area and high schools as well. But it's a great event. Shout out to Randy, who does a great job with it, putting it together. It's an absolute blast. Love it. And all the people there are just such great energy, a lot of fun, and appreciate that. That was at the Abington Art Center. Out there in Monco. So it was such a good time, and that's the event I was at yesterday. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bacon Jealous. What is where you host an event, they give you the T-shirt, Mally, to put over your shirt. Sean Gillespie, wow, your marriage is over. Takes Mark back to his days at Archbishop Wood. Archbishop Wood's actually a big fundraiser for them, believe it or not. Jim Grasmeter, Mark, did you get drunk first? No. Why would I do that? You guys are great. All right, let's get a win for the Sixers tonight. All right, let's will it into existence. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Kevin Negandhi will join the show tomorrow morning to break down whatever the hell happens tonight in South Philly. Let's root for that win. Jim Hyder produced the program, did a phenomenal job as per usual. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.